Hello, this is John Paval with Access Arts Live, here to bring you the weekly roundup of organ recital and organ concert live streams for the week of January 27th to February 2nd, and we'll add on another one for February 3rd, which will be next Monday. We have live streams of organ recitals from San Diego, California to Tomsk out in Siberia coming to you this week with different organists of different interests, but also a couple of concerts which will have not only the organ, but there will be one with violin, which will be the first one I want to tell you about, and then there'll be one with an alto domra. Isn't that an intriguing kind of instrument? And we'll be telling you about that one. That one will be coming from the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow. We have a lot to go through this week, though, and I do like to try to get done with these things in less than 30 minutes, you know. So let me get right to what we have coming for you this week, and start out by cranking up the. There are different photos there that you can see. There are different organists, but also of that violinist who's going to be in the first recital I tell you about, which is starting in just about 13 minutes from now. So as soon as this is over, you may want to run over and watch that. These are all free of charge live streams. This is just gold nuggets spread out online from all over the world, and all you have to do is pick them up. If you're an organ lover, at least it's gold to you. So let's start out with the first one, which will involve Aaron James and Corey Gemmell, or Gemmell. I'm not sure. I don't know all these things in advance. Okay. And this will be coming to you from Toronto, and it'll be starting up at 7 o'clock European time, which is, as I said, 13 minutes from now, as I'm doing this live stream, which is 1 o'clock on the East Coast and 10 in the morning on the West Coast. So let me give a proper introduction for it. I always like to do that. But wait, first, remember to like this video if you're watching us on Facebook. Remember to click the subscribe button if you watch on YouTube, or follow us on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads to get more than 1,000 live links to live performances online in 2025. Now let me tell you about St. James Cathedral is live streaming Aaron James on the organ and Corey Gemmell on the violin. As I mentioned, 1 o'clock Eastern time, 10 o'clock on the West Coast, and 7 o'clock in the evening on the East Coast. Who's Aaron James? Well, he's the director of music at the Toronto Oratory of St. Philip Neri. He's a sessional lecturer in organ at the University of Toronto, a multi-prize award winner, a fellow of the Royal Canadian College of Organists, which is the college's highest academic distinction. Who was Corey Gemmell? Well, he's a Hamilton native who got his music training at the University of Toronto, concertmaster with several regional orchestras, the Burlington Symphony, the Mississauga Symphony Orchestra, the Orchestra Toronto, the Scarborough Philharmonic. Very active in musical theater. He's been concertmaster in Toronto in musicals such as Miss Saigon, Beauty and the Beast, The Sound of Music, Phantom of the Opera, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, to name a few. And his repertoire is Mendelssohn, Beethoven, Sibelius, Prokofiev, and Vivaldi. Why do I mention his repertoire? Well, because we don't know what they're going to be playing, so we can only guess at it from what his repertoire is as a violinist. I will add to this, if you want to know about the organ, in the links that we publish with this video, we give you a link to the detailed specs. It was originally an S.R. Warren organ back in the 19th century, rebuilt by Casavan Frères in 1936 and then 1967, and rebuilt again with additions to it in 1976 by Phelps and Associates. 87 ranks, 67 speaking stops, over 4 manuals and 6 divisions, 5,101 pipes. Now, you know all you need to know about that. And let's move. So this is now going to be on in 10 minutes time. So as soon as this is done, or maybe before this is done, go listen to that, a live performance. You can catch up with this this live stream of mine later on in replay, it doesn't matter. But I'm a firm believer that if you're going to watch a live performance, you watch it while the performer is putting his heart, mind, and soul into creating a moment of truth and beauty to share with you and everyone else in the audience. That's only true when it's live. After it's over with, the artist has gone fishing, visiting family, who knows what, but they're not there for you in the moment when you're experiencing it. Okay, now let's move on to the next offering we have this week, which will be on Wednesday. I think we have 2 offerings for you on Wednesday, from the Temple Church London and then from the University College Chapel in Glasgow. And they come like 10 minutes apart from each other, or like one after the other. Okay, that photo there is Daniel Baker. I do a separate wrote intro to each show so we can cut the clip out and do a reel on Facebook. And I have to do it in less than 20 seconds. So I'll do that for each of these live streams. Okay. Daniel Baker sits down at the 4-manual Glenn Tonner Harrison & Harrison organ with the 3 32-feet stops of the Temple Church London for a live stream recital on Wednesday, January 29th. That will be at 2 o'clock European time, 8 in the morning on the East Coast in the US, and midnight down under in Australia. Who is this Daniel Baker, this young-looking guy? Well, he's the organ scholar at Grosvenor Chapel. He's a graduate music assistant at Eltham College, London. He was previously an organ scholar at Christ Church, Oxford, and he will be graduating, I think, well, he's said to graduate in 2024 with a degree in music. And prior to this, he was also an organ scholar at Sherborne Abbey and School. So he's done a lot of organ scholaring, I guess, getting himself a lot of experience that might translate into excellence in performance. He has an associateship of the Royal College of Organists and upcoming recitals at Southwark Cathedral, Grosvenor Chapel, and Westminster Cathedral. Westminster Cathedral, you're bringing me down. You remember that? So, unless you're as old as I am, you don't remember it. Okay. He was also a choir boy under Stephen Darlington at Christ Church when he was a boy, and I was a choir boy. The organ is a Harrison & Harrison limited organ, built and installed in 1954. As I mentioned in the intro, it's a 4-manual organ, and it has 3 32-feet stops. Not all organs have that. Some of these only, their biggest pipes are only 16 feet. And it was first built in Scotland and then brought down by rail in 1953. It was built for a ballroom back in 1927. And the inaugural recital was given by Marcel Dupré, of all people, who came up from France. And since then, it's been overhauled a couple of times by Harrison & Harrison. And the most recently in 2012 and 13, they basically dismantled it, took it to their workshop in Durham, and put it back together again. And once again, we don't know what Daniel Baker's going to be playing because they don't tell us. But we give you the link to it on YouTube, and you're welcome to check it out. Now, this next live stream that I want to tell you about. Hello to those of you who are actually watching us live. We really do appreciate it, but for some reason, I'm not able to access you in the chat. I have it open though. I have the chat open on our we live stream on Restream. So if you say hello, I should be able to see you and say thanks for tuning in. But you don't have to. But it'd be nice if you did, because I never find out who these people are that are watching us. Okay, so this next live stream, I'm not able to show you the photo of the person that's playing it. It's Jonathan Smith, who's an organ scholar, but I can show you there. There is the organ pipework itself. Wednesday, sorry, Wednesday lunchtime in the UK, the Glasgow University Chapel live streams Jonathan Smith, organ scholar at Glasgow University, on its Henry Willis III / Harrison and Harrison organ. That's at 1:10 p.m. London time, 2:10 p.m. European time. So it's 10 minutes after the live stream that's at Temple Church, London. And that's 8:10 in the morning on the East Coast, 5:10 in the morning on the West Coast, and 10 minutes after midnight down under in Australia. We give you a link to all the organ specs. Jonathan Smith, in addition to being an organ scholar at Glasgow University, is in his final year as a music student at the University of Glasgow, where he is the Landfine organ scholar, working regularly with the chapel choir. That's about all I have to tell you about that one. So we move on to we move on. What I really want to talk about here, because it's not an organ. Don't ask me why I want to talk about things that are not organs when I'm talking about organ recitals, but this is an example. This is an occasion. Art Bene live streams an organ and alto domra duo on Wednesday, January 29th at 6 in the evening European time. One last chance to hold on to the Christmas spirit. It's called Winter Stories, and it's on the organ and the domra. It's at 8 o'clock Moscow time, 6 o'clock European time, noon on the East Coast, 9 in the morning on the West Coast, from the Catholic Cathedral in Moscow, which it's regularly doing live streaming 2 or 3 times a week. And some of them are just organ recitals, and then some of them are much more complicated presentations with the organ included. I only include the more limited organ recitals like this one. The photo that you see there beside me is a domra, okay? And what is a domra? Well, the domra is a long-necked Belarusian, Russian, and Ukrainian folk string instrument with a round body and 3 or 4 metal strings. The alto domra is ordinarily with 4 strings, and it's tuned like a mandola. C, G, D, A. And I wish I do solfege well enough that I could just chant that for you, but I can't. It's a fairly ancient instrument in Russia. It was mentioned in the admonitions of Metropolitan Daniel, which was written in 1530. And it was very popular in the 16th and 17th centuries. I'm told that it replaced the gusli, whatever that is. Anyway. And then the Tsar Alexis of Russia, who was very pious, issued an edict ordering the destruction of all the instruments of Russian folk musicians. Apparently, he was one of these people who thought that popular music was a work of the devil. So the domra was eventually abandoned and replaced by the balalaika, which apparently is easier to make and to play. And then centuries later, in 1896, somebody found a broken instrument in a stable out of the country in Russia, and apparently that was an old domra, and subsequently they've developed it. So that's why you have a domra there. But to be fair, I mean, this is supposed to be for organ lovers, so I will send you a shot of the pipework of the organ at the Roman Catholic Cathedral that they'll be playing along with this. If you don't know this, if you haven't been following all of our roundups, this organ was donated to the Roman Catholic Church in Moscow by a Protestant Reformed cathedral in Switzerland back in the early 2000s. And when the Roman Catholic Cathedral was reopening, and all they had was some hokey electric organ. So this gives them a really fine organ. I have been unable to find the precise specs to give you. Anyway, they'll be playing old English Christmas songs and Christmas theme music by Vivaldi, Bach, Dubois, Reger, Gigoux, Dowland, and Tchaikovsky. This is one more evening of Christmas melodies. The Russians don't celebrate Christmas till January 7th, and then it hangs on afterwards for weeks, whereas we celebrate it on the 24th and the 25th, and we precede it by weeks. So they kind of do it the opposite way. But if you're interested in what the organ and the alto domra sounds like, well, here's your chance. Okay. Now, we then, I'm sorry. I enjoy myself far too much in these live streams. And still nobody has said hello to me on the chat that I can see. So let's move on now to one of my favorite organists. Here he is. Canon Martin Green remains one of the most articulate and engaging organists I know of. He explains what he's going to play and why he chose it so well, and does it without leaving us behind in a cloud of musicological dust. He's a great guy, but they never tell us what he's going to be playing in advance, so I can't tell you what he's going to be playing in advance. But it's at St. Paul's Episcopal Cathedral in San Diego. He's there every Friday at 1 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 4 o'clock on the East Coast in the afternoon, 10 o'clock at night in Europe. If you don't have anything else going on at 10 o'clock in Europe, you can tune this in. And it will be, I guarantee you it's enjoyable. His selections are always interesting collections, combinations of early and modern music, or American and European music. And it's just an excellent experience. So the organ there it's the longest history of any organ in San Diego, in the San Diego area. It was entirely rebuilt by Aeolian Skinner, Opus 1495 in 1969, their last installation west of the Mississippi. But then there was a complete rebuild by Quimby Pipe Organs in 2012, Opus 68. It has 4 manuals, 98 stops, 86 ranks, 115 draw knobs, and 4,933 pipes. And if you'd like to see a picture of that organ before I move on to the next live stream, here's a picture of the manual and the pipework of the organ at St. Paul's Cathedral in San Diego. I'm giving you a moment just to drink it in for those of you who may be just really hardcore organ lovers. So there you go. We move along now to Sunday. We have 2 live stream organ recitals for you on Sunday. This is Baptiste-Florian Marle-Ouvrard. Baptiste-Florian Marle-Ouvrard, the resident organist at St. Eustache Church, is back playing organ recitals again, live streaming on Sunday. He'll be playing Bach and Liszt this time. That'll be at 5 o'clock in the evening, Sunday, February 2nd, European time, 11 in the morning on the East Coast, 8 in the morning on the West Coast. He'll be playing Bach's Concerto in A minor after Vivaldi. He'll be playing Bach's Wachtet auf, ruft uns die Stimme. I love pronouncing German. And they'll be playing Franz Liszt Prelude and Fugue, on Bach, B-A-C-H. That's a Prelude et Fugue sur Bach. So apparently Franz Liszt did a Prelude and a Fugue on the letters in Bach's name or something like that. I think the H stands for, in some language, it stands for something on the keyboard. Anyway, you can see Baptiste-Florian Marle-Ouvrard. I really love this guy. He became the organist to succeed after Jean Guillou in 2015 by winning a nationwide competition. And he has a dramatic soul and a flair. And he always wears red socks when he's doing recitals, because he knows that, the great thing about these live streams, the live stream at this church, St. Eustache, is attended by several hundred people each Sunday. I've been there. I'm in Paris these days. And sometimes what I do is I will go to that live stream and I'll do a live stream of my own before it and walk you into the cathedral. So check out our any of our web pages on this coming Sunday, and I may walk you in and show you the church before it starts, and then do a little live stream after it's over to talk about what happened. Anyway, that's Baptiste-Florian Marle-Ouvrard. He's quite a showman, and he's an excellent organist. And the acoustics in that organ are terrific. I will show you a picture. Let me show you a picture of that organ very quickly. I know I have it here somewhere. Yeah, here it is. The manual and the pipework. And during these recitals, you're sitting around the organ, and then up above you to the left, towering above you, is that pipework right there. So you're like, woo! But what you don't see when you're there in person is you don't get close-ups on the keyboard or on the pedals. And you do in the live stream. The live stream is nothing to sneeze at if you're really interested in organ playing. This organ you're looking at is the Van den Heuvel organ. It's the technical equal of the organ at the Cathedral of Notre Dame. It has 101 stops, 5 manuals, 7,952 pipes, just like the one at Notre Dame. I'll take a moment, and just in case this interests you. There are 3 great organs in Paris. There's the Cathedral of Notre Dame organ. There's the organ at Saint-Sulpice Church, which is, I'll talk about it to you in a minute. And then there's this one, this Van den Heuvel organ. Now, I'm sorry, I haven't done all the homework I need to do on the Notre Dame Cathedral organ, but I have heard it. I heard it the other day. And I know you can play organs in various tones, but they also have a distinctive tone which really seems to identify them. And I would say that the organ at Notre Dame Cathedral, it's brilliant. There's a brilliance to the sound. They can put an edge on that in that cathedral, the way the acoustics are. There's like, nah. And then the second organ at Saint-Sulpice is a Cavaillé-Coll organ, those are great French organ makers. And when I've heard that in person, the sound is so sweet. It almost brought tears to my eyes just hearing the sound. And it doesn't matter what they're playing or what tone they put on it. That's a sweet sounding organ. The Van den Heuvel, I would say, is the most balanced of the 3 and can go in either direction. And you may hear that if you tune in to listen to one of these recitals, and you may not. But I encourage you to do so. Hundreds of people don't show up for these recitals for nothing. Now, much later in the day, coming out of Portland, Oregon, we have an organ recital from a provider that I didn't know about until just this week. Sunday, February 2nd, from the West. I'm sorry, I got to redo this. Sunday, February 2nd, Trinity First Sunday Organ Recital presents John Paul Farahat. He is the director of music and principal organist of St. Basil's Church, which is the collegiate church of the University of St. Michael's College in the University of Toronto. He's organ instructor at St. Michael's Choir School. He's adjunct organ faculty member at Emmanuel College of Victoria University. And I do not know what he is going to be playing, but it's much later in the day. So for those of you for whom the European times don't work, this may be better for you. It will be at 4:30 in the afternoon, Pacific Standard Time on the West Coast, 7:30 in the evening on the East Coast, 1:30 in the morning in Europe, and 11:30 Monday morning down under in Australia. Wow. Okay, we have one more live stream for me to tell you about that is coming up, and I do not believe that I have a photo to go with this one at all. No. But I do want to tell you about it because it is worth knowing about, and you may want to tune into it. It's one that you're probably not familiar with. Wait, I do have a photo of the organ. If I do not have a photo of the organist, I do have a photo of the organ. It's coming from Tomsk, which is way out in Siberia, and here is a photo of the organ in the Tomsk Philharmonic Concert Hall. This is going to be a recital which is only being done by live stream. It will not have a live audience, and it's very instructional, but unfortunately the instructions are all in Russian. So if you speak Russian, hey, check it out. But if you don't, I don't know. Maybe you have software for captioning it, but ordinarily there is no caption. Okay. Monday, February 3rd at 7 in the evening, Siberia time, 1 in the afternoon in Europe, Tomsk Philharmonic Organ Hall live streams Dmitry Ushakov playing Buxtehude. That's in American times. That's 7 in the morning in the East Coast, 4 a.m. on the West Coast. It'll be 11 o'clock in the evening, Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Dmitry Ushakov he'll be playing. He's the resident organist with the Tomsk Philharmonic Orchestra. He'll be playing Buxtehude's choral fantasy, "Rejoice, Beloved Christians," and preludes in E minor, C minor, and D major. It's these concerts that Ushakov does are always fairly erudite. Folks, this is what I had for you this week for organ recital live streams. I'm glad I was able to get through it at least in a little less than 30 minutes. Remember to like this video if you're watching on Facebook, and then we will invite you to follow us. Click the subscribe button if you're watching on YouTube, or follow or subscribe to us on X, TikTok, Instagram, or Threads to get more than 1,000 live links to live performances online in 2025. I hope that one or more or any of these live streams of organ recitals inspires you, uplifts you, or just gives you a heck of a good time. Ciao for now. We'll be back tomorrow with the weekly roundup of all of the chamber music recitals, at least those that are going on during the week. I'm going to have to do 2 live streams for chamber music this week because there's so much during the week and even more coming in on the weekend. Live streaming is exploding, folks. If you tune into any of these live streams, most of which are on YouTube, check in the comments section. If I'm there as Access Arts Live, you'll see me and you can say hi and you can thank us for turning you on to that particular recital. And if we're not there, you can tell the moderator, hey, Access Arts Live sent me, so we get a little credit for the moderators too. Ciao for now, and good listening.